Welcome to Olympus Knowledge. In this video, we're talking about the muscles of the neck. As you can see on the table, we have charts showing you the muscles of the neck, and shall describe them from the external surfaces of the body going into the deep muscles of the neck. As you can see in this chart, we have muscles of the neck. So this muscle here is the musculus platysma. This muscle originates from the superficial lamina of the pectoral fascia, and it inserts into the masseteric fascia of the face. This muscle helps to bend or depress the lips, and also this muscle brings tension to the skin of the neck. Here we have muscles also. We have the suprahyoid muscles and infrahyoid muscles. Okay, now we start with the suprahyoid muscles. Here we have the musculus digastric anterior belly, musculus digastric posterior belly. The musculus digastric anterior belly it originates from the digastric fossa of the mandible. This is the mandible. Inward here you have the digastric fossa. This is the origin, and it inserts into the tendon here. It's a tendon where it inserts and continues as the posterior belly. In the musculus digastric anterior, it continues as the posterior. So the musculus digastric posterior belly, it originates from the mastoid notch of the temporal bone and inserts into the hyoid bone. So the anterior originates from the fossa and inserts into the hyoid bone. The posterior originates from the fossa of the temporal bone and inserts into the hyoid bone. Now, we have also musculus stylohyoid. Here you have a clear vision. It originates from the styloid bone and inserts into the hyoid bone. This muscle helps to elevate. This is the hyoid bone. This muscle helps to elevate the hyoid bone towards the base of the tongue. Yes. Okay, we have here the muscle and the digastric anterior belly and the digastric posterior belly. Now we move on to the musculus mylohyoid. This muscle originates from the myloid line of the mandible and inserts into the body of the hyoid bone. So we move on to the muscle here. This is musculus genohyoid, mylohyoid, genohyoid. This genohyoid, it originates from the geniotubercle of the mandible and inserts into the anterior surface of the hyoid bone. The mylohyoid helps to elevate the hyoid bone towards the base of the tongue. The genohyoid also helps to elevate the hyoid bone, and this also helps to depress the mandible, bringing it down a bit. Here we have the musculus hyoglossus. Here you can also see musculus hyoglossus, musculus mylohyoid, genohyoid, and musculus hyoglossus. This muscle originates from the hyoid bone and inserts to the tongue. So by the name hyoglossus, hyo means the hyoid bone origin and glossus means tongue in Latin, inserts to the tongue. This muscle helps to depress and retract the tongue. So we have seen the muscles of the suprahyoid region. Come again, we have the digastric muscle anterior belly, digastric muscle posterior belly, stylohyoid muscle, geniohyoid, mylohyoid, and we have the hyoglossus. In general, this muscle helps to elevate the hyoid bone, except from the hyoglossus, because it originates from the hyoid bone and inserts into the tongue, so it helps to depress the tongue and retract the tongue. Now we move on to the muscles of the infrahyoid region. Here you can we move on to the muscles of the infrahyoid region. So here, the muscles of this region, it depresses or brings down the hyoid bone. So now we have the musculus omohyoidus. This is called the superior belly and the inferior belly. Between the bellies, we have a tendon here. The superior belly, it originates from the superior surface of the scapula, also called the superior margin of the scapula here, and inserts into the intermediate tendon. Origin, superior margin of the scapula, insertion, intermediate tendon. This muscle helps to contract here, and it collapses the deep vein of the neck. The musculus omohyoidus, superior belly. This muscle, it originates from the intermediate tendon and inserts into the body of the hyoid. So you see, it's moved from the scapula, the inferior belly, inserts in the intermediate tendon, and then it moves from the intermediate tendon towards the hyoid bone. So this is the inferior belly, this is the superior belly. Now we have the musculus sternohyoidus. This muscle originates from the posterior surface of the manubrum. That is the manubrum here, the posterior surface origination, and it inserts into the medial part of the hyoid bone in the lower region. It's the hyoid bone in the lower region, the medial part, you have the insertion. This muscle helps to depress the larynx and the hyoid bone. We now have the musculus Sternothyroid. This is the thyroid cartilage. So, as the name implies, Sternothyroid. So easy. Origin is the sternum. Insertion is the thyroid cartilage. This muscle, it helps to depress the thyroid cartilage. So in general, it depresses the larynx, it depresses the cartilage. Now we move on to a continuation. Actually, it's the Thyrohyoid. By the name, you can see the origin is from the thyroid cartilage here, and it inserts into the hyoid bone inferior surface, the lower border. This muscle also helps to depress the hyoid bone. So in general, for the infrahyoid muscles, we have Omohyoidus, which has inferior belly, superior belly. We have the Sternohyoid, we have the Sternothyroid, and we have the Thyrohyoid. My God. We have the musculus Sternocleidomastoid. It has two heads, the sternal head and the clavicular head. The Sternohyoid originates from the anterior surface of the mandible. The clavicular head originates from the upper surface of the clavicle, and they both insert into the mastoid process of the temporal bone. This muscle, when it contracts, it helps to bend the head, and it also lifts the face towards the opposite side. Okay, we move on to these muscles. Here we have three muscles: musculus calenus posterior, musculus calenus medius, and the anterior. The anterior scalenus muscle, it originates from the anterior tubercle of the cervical vertebra C3 to C6, and it inserts into the first rib. This is the first rib. So it inserts into the tubercle of the anterior surface of the first rib. The musculus calenus medius, it originates from the posterior tubercle of C2 to C7 vertebrae, and it inserts into the upper surface of the first rib behind the subclavian muscle. This is the musculus subclavian. So behind, it's covered like this. So behind it, you have the medius. The posterior scalenus muscle originates from the posterior tubercle of C3 to C6, and it inserts into the outer surface of the second rib. So the anterior, the middle inserts into the first rib, but the posterior inserts into the second rib. So during contraction, this anterior helps to elevate the first rib, and it also helps to bend the neck, also helps to bend the cervical spine. The middle also same, elevates the first rib, helps to bend the neck, helps to elevate the cervical spine. The posterior, it helps to elevate the second rib and also bend the cervical spine forward. So anterior scalenus, medius, and the posterior scalenus. Now we move on to the next muscle. We have the musculus longus capitis. This muscle, it originates from the transverse process of C3 to C6, and it inserts into the, from here, origin. These are the, as you can see, these are the cervical bones, neck, C3 to C6, and it inserts, goes down, inserts into the basilar part of the occipital bone, goes deep into the occipital bone, the basilar part of the occipital bone. This muscle, it helps to flexion and rotation of the cervical vertebrae, also the head in general. So the muscle, musculus longus capitis. Now we move on to the next muscle. We have here musculus spinous capitis. We also have here, this is the esophagus here. This is the pharynx constrictor. It helps to constrict the pharynx. It's the interior. So this is it. And we have the musculus longus colli. Musculus longus colli, esophagus, musculus constrictor pharyngeal interior, musculus longus capitis. And here we have the musculus levator scapula. This muscle, it originates from also the cervix, bone, and it inserts into the superior margin of the scapula. It helps to elevate. By the name musculus levator scapula, it helps to elevate the scapula. Here we have the musculus spinous capitis. You have the musculus longissimus capitis. Here is also the digastric belly of the digastric muscle, posterior belly. Here is the anterior belly, the stylohyoid. This is the Sternohyoid. This is the Mylohyoid. This is the hyoglossus. This is the Thyrohyoid, Omohyoid, Sternothyroid, Sternohyoid. So in general, we have talked about muscles of the neck, and now we move on to the deep muscles of the neck. This is the musculus rectus capitis anterior and lateral. The anterior is originates from the lateral mass of the atlas, and it sets into the basilar part of the occipital bone. It helps to bend the neck forward. This is lateral. The lateral originates from the transverse process of the atlas and inserts to the inferior surface of the jugular foramen. It also helps to bend the neck and flexes the neck laterally. Now talk about general muscles. Here we have the musculus sclenus posterior, medius, anterior, as we saw in our previous chart. Anterior, medius, and posterior. Here you have the levator scapula, which is cut off. Here you have the musculus longus colli. Here you have the musculus longus capitis. Here you have also, so these muscles here, they are the musculus intertransverse. This is the process transverse process. You have the musculus intertransverse. So in general, we have talked about muscles of the neck, starting from the superficial muscles, the suprahyoid muscles, infrahyoid muscles, and muscles of the deep part of the neck. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching.